To the uninitiated, Audi's full range of cars can be a little bit bewildering. There's about 25 different models. They're all numbered 1 through 8. They either have an A or a Q at the start. Some of them have an S or an RS. And to top it all off, their design language is a little bit similar, so it can be hard to tell them apart. But sitting smack bang in the middle of the range is a Sportback sedan that's well worth looking at, the A5. The A5 Sportback is what you get when you cross a coupe with a sedan. A sleek, beautiful looking car that, especially in this shade of red, stands out from the crowd. At the front here, we've got matrix LED headlights with daytime driving lights that double as sequential turn indicators. And I really like these pinched up creases here on the bonnet that go all the way up to the windscreen. And in fact, this line here where the bonnet meets the front fender runs the whole length of the car. It really looks good. I love the look of these wheels. They're kind of a classic old school look, 19-inch alloys in contrasting grey. They just look awesome. At the back here, we've got a couple of attractive LEDs with more sequential turn indicators, and Audi do have a bit of form with fake exhausts, but I can happily tell you that is not the case here. These are real. Now, Sportback doesn't necessarily mean you get a bigger boot, but you do get a much bigger opening to load stuff in. There's 480 litres of room back here, which is more than enough room for my camera gear, my daughter's drum kit, or my mother's stuff for when she wants to clean out her spare room because allegedly my kids have grown up too fast and don't play with her toys anymore. Can I please get rid of them? The A5 has a 4-cylinder 2-litre engine that outputs 140 kilowatts of power and 320 newton meters of torque. It drives its power through the front wheels only. Now, they call this car a compact, but really it's a bit closer to a mid-sizer, so there is a bit of weight to lug around. Those numbers aren't huge, so the performance is more sturdy and steady and adequate for around town rather than racy and theatrical like the more powerful 45 TFSI. The interior design is very similar to the Audi A4. Got lots of nice soft touch plastics, nice leather seats, leather wrapped steering wheel. There's beautiful wood paneling here on the center console and on the dashboard and on the doors. It feels really premium. Some nice carpeting and this grille here that runs the whole length of the dashboard. It has a bit of a retro feel to it, but I think it looks really good. Interior storage space is a bit of a problem across the board with Audi. It is something that BMW do a little bit better. So, for example, there's no wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in this car, so you've got to have your phone plugged in to use those. But once you've done that, then there's nowhere to put your phone except maybe in the cup holder, or there's this storage cubby here. It can sit kind of awkwardly upside down there, but it's not really designed for that. There's no room up the front there. It's just a frustrating little thing. Up on top here, we've got the Mmi Screen, which runs fantastic software. Audi's system really is one of the best on the market. Google Maps looks razor sharp. It's very fast, very responsive. It does everything you need. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not wireless though. Air conditioning controls just underneath that. Now, a lot of the newer Audis are moving to a touchscreen system. This one still has older school buttons and knobs, but that's fine. They work really, really well. Underneath that, a row of buttons for the drive select modes, the auto engine on off, and the electronic stability control plus the parking assist. We've got the USB port and a 12-volt port down there as well. A couple of cup holders that light up when the lights are on. They look really awesome. Cool little storage cubby here. One of the best gear shifters you will find in any car anywhere. Audi do this better than anyone else. It has such a rock solid feel to it. It's like something that you'd have in a 747 as it takes off. It's got that kind of feel to it. And underneath the armrest, not much in the way of storage space, but we do get a cordless phone charger. The virtual cockpit screen looks really, really good. It's customizable. It's pretty much the same as the one on the A4. You can do those beautiful full screen Google Maps on it, which you can also replicate up here on the center screen as well. A nice leather wrapped steering wheel with some stitching. We've got the turn indicators and the windscreen wipers and the European configuration. Then my least favorite stalk of all, the cruise control, which is just really fiddly to use. One thing I am missing though is a sunroof. I'd love this car to have a sunroof, but can't have it all. Okay. Back seat accommodations. I don't want to say it's luxurious, but it is comfortable. It's quite doable. I'm 190 centimeters tall and behind my own sitting position. My knees are, well, they're inside the plastic shell here and they're not actually technically touching, so it's pretty good. We've got a couple of climate control buttons back here, plus and minus to adjust the temperature, 2 air vents, 2 USB chargers that are strictly charge only, so the sign says, and a 12-volt port 2. More of this nice wood paneling here from the front. It looks so good. And I love these cup holders. These are awesome here in the armrest. Listen to that noise. How awesome is that? I'm not going to show my kids this because they will do it non-stop, just to drive me insane. On the road, and the Audi A5 feels very well put together. It's very composed, it's very refined, it's very quiet in here, very smooth, no real intrusions from the outside world. It's quite a comfortable car to drive. Overall, I'd say the driving performance of this car is adequate. It's not really sporty. If you want more enthusiastic performance, you've got to head up to the 45 TFSI, whereas in this model, it's really just about getting the job done. And you can see that in the Drive Mode Select menu. There is the individual menu where you can tweak how you want this car to drive. And there's really only 2 settings to change. One is the drive system, efficient, balanced, or dynamic, and the steering. You can either have comfortable, balanced, or dynamic. To be honest, in comfortable, it's just a bit too numb, and it is better in dynamic, but even then, it's not the most sharp steering I've ever experienced. Engine sounds a little bit breathless there at those higher revs, but it's got a good amount of go. This car is more about comfort, practicality, and getting you from A to B with a good deal of style. Now, this car has adaptive cruise control, but it is on this 3rd stalk behind the wheel here, and I'm just not a fan of this design. It is way too fiddly to use. You've really got to take your eyes off the road to learn how to use it, and you can't practice using it when the car's not moving because the system won't engage. So it's just a little bit overly complicated, and you have to mash a lot of buttons to try and get it to work, and hopefully you get something right, but it's overly engineered. So cornering around town and going over speed humps, not a problem at all for the Audi A5, just glides over them very comfortably. It doesn't get upset about it at all, and I'm in dynamic mode at the moment, so if ever it was going to feel harsher, it would be in this mode, but it doesn't. It just glides over everything. The speedo on the dash in front of me says that this car's top speed is 300 kilometers per hour. In reality, though, apparently the fastest they've managed to get one of these to go is 241, which is still pretty quick. Can't say I've tested it myself because that would be illegal and dangerous. The noise from the engine at those high revs just doesn't quite have the same sound as a BMW, and they make such a glorious noise. Even the 4-cylinder engines sound really, really good. This one, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like the way that this car looks. I want to hear something to go with its good looks, and I'm just not getting that. Priced from around $72,000, the Audi A5 40 TFSI is certainly a very viable alternative to getting an SUV. It's practical, it looks good, and it performs really well. But if you're after something with a little bit more get up and go and a bit more buzz, then you might want to have a look at the slightly more powerful 45 TFSI.